Thanks for joining us over the air and streaming on the News 8 Plus app. Galva residents still have questions about a planned carbon capture project for the town's ethanol plant. Maddie France joins us in studio to explain what carbon capture is and concerns from residents. Good evening, Maddie.
Hey, John. This project will take carbon emissions from the Big River Resources ethanol plants. There's one here in Galva and one in Burlington. The carbon will be liquefied, then injected deep underground past Galva's water supply. The company working on the carbon capture has submitted its permit application to the EPA to drill the well. Residents in Galva want to have their say before any carbon moves an inch. Big River Resources is the biggest taxpayer in Galva. It produces more than 100 million gallons of ethanol every year. The company plans to add a system to reduce its carbon emissions at this plant and the main facility in Burlington.
A month and a half ago, someone's like, hey, they're talking, they're going to bring trucks, semis of the CO2 through town,
Dustin Williams only heard about the project recently. It's called carbon capture and sequestration.
Found out all the goods and bads, and the bads really outweighed the goods,
Some of those bads: increased truck traffic bringing carbon from Burlington.
And that's a lot of exposure.
And groundwater contamination. He says construction jobs aren't worth the risk.
But it's a temporary inflation to the economy, that would quickly fizzle out and be gone, and then we're left with a permanent problem.
But Williams still has questions. He and dozens of allies packed city council chambers to voice their opposition.
I want my kids to live here.
One criticism came from registered nurse Amanda Stodgel.
The council is on formal notice.
She says there aren't enough EMS staff available for the worst-case scenario.
If there is a leak or a plume that explodes, it would be a respiratory arrest.
Health is more important than money.
Henry County Emergency Management will be at the next council meeting, and the fire chief tells me he has a plan to address that.
Shame on the person that signed the contract.
Another jab: the city signed a land use contract with the company for about $20,000 up front.
Allowed the plume to go underneath that farm ground, and the city admin is the only one that signed that contract, no one else.
City Administrator David Dyer says he's using that money to hire a geologist. He wants the EPA to take his comments seriously when deciding on a permit.
But I've got this guy and his team, and they have a document that we would like submitted for the record. That's going to go in pile 1.
Beyond that contract, the project is out of the city's hands. Williams' next plan is to go to the county and ask it to ban this type of project. Williams' group is also worried about the impact of property values. He says putting something dangerous underground will drive people away. A 2024 paper for the National Bureau of Economic Research saw a 3% increase in home values near carbon capture projects. However, this was a combination of rural and urban data. John?